Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. In just a moment, I am going to walk my happy butt over to the futon to check out the Netflix original, The Woman in Cabin 10. The Woman in Cabin 10 is a psychological thriller that comes to us from Netflix. It's directed by Simon Stone and it's starring Keira Knightley, Hannah Waddington, and Guy Pearce. It tells the story of a woman who's invited to go on a billionaire's mega yacht to go on some trip or something. And one night while she's hanging out on her balcony, she thinks she sees a woman fall from one of the balconies to the ocean below. And when she brings it up to the other billionaires on this ship, they all go, "What are you talking about, man? There wasn't anybody even in that cabin." This is a psychological gaslighting thriller from Netflix. It's also based on a book that came out in 2016 of the same title. And to be perfectly honest, I really enjoy watching movies like this around Halloween, and so that's why I try to focus most of my October offerings when it comes to my reviews and all. I try to do more thrillers and horror and stuff like that because I know that people really enjoy watching suspense thrillers and horror movies and all in the month of October and spooky season. And when it's also getting to, as I like to call it, crusty bread and soup season, we love to watch these kind of movies. So anyways, it's enough of my jibber jabber. It's time to head over to the futon. And this time, I'm not only joined by my faithful feline friend Haku, but his good friend Beans the dog is going to be joining us for this movie. So it's enough of the talk. It's time for me to get over there because I need to watch The Woman in Cabin 10. Just getting done watching The Woman in Cabin 10, and guys, this movie was downright silly. And I don't mean silly in a good way, I mean silly in a why in the hell did I waste my time watching this thing kind of way. So let's get this party started, shall we? We're going to get things started with negatives, then move into the positives to end the video on the ever so important high note. And I'm going to try really hard to come up with some positives, all right? I really am. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is just the overall vibe of this film. Now, we were supposed to get a murder mystery thriller into this film, some suspense, some drama, things of that sort, but it starts off that way. We get a little bit of it, and I like the reasoning on how Keira Knightley's character actually gets onto this boat, because you're just like, okay, why is a fairly average type of human being getting invited onto this big mega yacht with all these billionaires? So the movie does a good job in putting her into the situation. She's an investigative journalist that's going on this trip with them to learn more about him. There's this fundraiser that's going on, blah, blah, blah. So that's how she gets there. She's an investigative journalist. So that also ties into the investigation portion of this, right? So then when the murder happens and we get all of the suspects together and we start to try to learn what's going on, we're going to have like a Murder on the Orient Express type of situation, right? Where all of these people are stuck on this boat in the middle of the ocean. Everyone's a suspect, everyone's a victim, that kind of stuff. So that's where you're expecting things to go. And it starts with just a teeny bit of investigation, and then everything is just events that connect to something. And then the whole thing is just kind of revealed to our main character in a big third act twist that just completely derails the entire movie and throws it into just absolutely ludicrous situation territory. It just doesn't make any sense, and it completely just kind of destroys the rest of the film for you. After they do that, the last act of the film just seems completely pointless and boring because it's like, okay, well, you already played your cards and they didn't make a damn bit of sense. So how in God's green earth are we gonna wrap this movie up? And let me tell you folks, not well. No, this movie does not really wrap up very well at all. You are left just sitting completely unsatisfied, wondering why in God's green earth you just spend an hour and 35 minutes of your life watching this absolute waste of talent. There are some good actors in this film, and they do deliver the best performances they possibly can, but everything on the script is just so silly. And I mean, I was really, truly intrigued with this film from the beginning. I thought that there was this neat little murder that was going in, and there was, you know, a little bit of gaslighting at first. There wasn't a whole lot. Like, it kind of made sense at first. So the murder happens, and everybody's like, are you sure you saw what you saw? It's dark outside. We're in the middle of the ocean. You think you saw somebody fall into the ocean. And then they're like, okay, well, everybody's on the ship. Everyone's accounted for, so I don't know what's going on. And you're like, okay, well, that's strange. All right. Well, so then she starts her investigation, the very small portion of this movie that's an actual investigation. And she's going around talking to everybody, and it starts to really piss everybody on this boat off that she just won't stop bugging everyone and have a good time. So this causes everybody to just go into severe gaslighting territory. And where I finally lost it was pretty much at the halfway point where she goes into like a lounge situation where everybody's just kind of having drinks, having a little night together and all that, and people were just coming up to her face being like, it's stupid, no one was on the ship, no one fell off the ship, why do you keep bugging everybody, just have a good time. I'm like, what is going on here? Why is everybody just completely turning against this woman and screaming at her about this whole thing? This makes no sense whatsoever. And it's just like, why are you so intensely trying to get this woman to not believe what is going on? Even when there are attempts at her own life, everybody's just like, stop making things up. You just fell. No one pushed you off of anything. You just fell. You're just being, you know, reactive. Nothing happened. And I'm like, seriously, what in God's green earth is going on with this movie? Why is everyone acting like this? It serves no purpose, and it just dragged the film down. And it's just, again, this is where things broke into absolute silliness. Because who reacts that way? Somebody's, you know, falls off of something or says they're pushed off of something, and instead of listening to them, you just start immediately telling them they don't know what they're talking about. Shut up, have a drink with the rest of us, and just have a good time. Numb the body, numb the mind. And then that's just kind of how it goes from there on out. Then we get to, again, that third act reveal that just kind of throws the movie in the wacky doodle territory, and that's it. So yeah, not a whole lot in this film that I actually enjoyed. I will say that for the mess of a script, that the cast does an excellent job. The acting in this film isn't bad whatsoever. There are some really good moments with the actors. Keira Knightley delivers a perfectly good performance, Guy Pearce, and also the supporting cast. There were familiar faces, but unfortunately I wasn't familiar with the actors, but there were faces that I have recognized in other projects. A lot of other things I've seen on Netflix before, but they are all actors that I know deliver good, solid performances. So everything in that category was perfectly fine. The cinematography, actually, I really enjoyed the cinematography. I loved the exterior shots of the boat when it was in the ocean and you could see it out there in the middle of nowhere. It really helped drive home that whole idea of isolation and so on. So they're out there in the water, they're on their own, and I thought those shots were really well done. There was also some really cool handheld cam moments on the ship that really did kind of help with the tension and all when things kind of felt like you were in the moment. So I thought the camera work, the acting was perfectly fine. It's just, guys, this story is just pointless. This is a definite skip it. Don't waste your time with this one unless you are just purely curious to put yourself through this. But in my personal opinion, if this sucker pops up in your recommendations on your Netflix, just move on. Skip over this. Check out the movie Mantis. I watched that one. It's a fun little South Korean kung fu movie. And I don't know what it is with Netflix movies right now, but I've seen a good few of them this year, and so far the only ones that I've really enjoyed whatsoever have all come from South Korea. So I guess Netflix, keep up with distributing films from South Korea. You're doing really good there. The rest of your Netflix films, they need some work, my friends. Alright guys, well that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for checking out Thanks for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you could do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.